Our fault. Always our fault. The rain doesn't ask for permission. It just falls hard, fast, and honest like the truth we're both afraid to say out loud. Night. The city breathes in neon and fog, the kind that makes every street feel like a secret. We do not see faces, only shapes, only shadows, only the trembling hands that almost touch and never do. Through a window streaked with rain, two silhouettes stand inches apart. Their reflections meet before they do, as if the glass knows them better than they know themselves. A streetlight flickers. A car passes. The red brake lights smear across the wet road like a wound. Somewhere, a key turns and a lock decides if it will be friend or jailer. A slow heartbeat rises, steady at first, then sharp 1, 2, 3, while the camera lingers on details most people miss. A ring left on the sink. A text that says, "Don't," a letter with smudged ink, a set of knuckles white from holding on too tight. Steam curls from a cup of coffee that nobody drinks. Water runs in the bathroom, then stops. A door opens just enough to let in a thin slice of light, thin enough to cut. We follow footsteps in the hallway, quiet, careful, and wrong. A hand hovers over a doorknob. It pulls back. It returns. It shakes. On the wall, shadows dance like old promises. The voice that breaks the silence is low, held together by the last thread of patience. If I touch you, nothing stays the same. The reply is only breath, but breath can carry a war. A cigarette glows in the dark and burns down to ash, time measured in small endings. In the mirror, there are two bodies and one truth. This is a love that does not fit in daylight. The city outside is a storm with teeth, chewing on power lines, licking at windows, begging to be let in. Lightning cracks, freezing the room for a single white-blue moment. And there, in that flash, the camera finds what it came for, two profiles almost meeting. Not a kiss, not yet, just the gravity of it. The pull that rewrites rules, maps, names. The voice returns, softer now, like confession with nowhere to hide. Our fault. The words fall heavy and land between them like a dare. Somewhere a clock starts again. Somewhere a heart answers yes. The rain grows louder, as if the sky can't stand watching them hold back. We cut closer, the slope of a neck, the curve of a wrist, the tiny scar on a thumb that tells a whole history of small hurts. A breath catches, a spine arches. A light goes out, and in that dark, the sound of fabric moving, skin searching for a place to be brave. The city holds its breath with them, and for a long beat, time forgets how to move. Then a whisper, almost a prayer, almost a threat. Don't make me choose. The storm hits the window like applause, like warning, like both. Fade to black only, the heartbeat remains, faster now, counting down to the moment when desire steps over the line in love, or something that looks like it, starts to burn, asterisk, the storm has not left. It lingers, swelling like an echo trapped inside their chests. But storms never come without reason, and this one brings more than rain. It brings the reminder that every choice has teeth. A set of headlights slices through the night, washing the street in a harsh, cold glow. The camera doesn't show faces, only fragments, the tight grip on a steering wheel, the shallow breath fogging up the glass, the reflection of trembling hands holding back words that could break everything apart. A phone buzzes, the name flashing across the screen, blurred, unreadable, yet heavy with meaning. The hand hovers above it, tempted but doesn't answer. Instead, the phone falls silent, suffocated under the weight of what cannot be explained. Inside the house, the silence is louder than thunder. A door closes softly, but the sound is sharp enough to split the night. Footsteps trace across the wooden floor, slow, deliberate, like someone trying to walk carefully across broken glass. On the kitchen table lies an envelope torn open too roughly. The paper inside is smeared with rain or tears, no one knows which. A single phrase is underlined twice, pressed hard enough that the pen almost tore through. Stay away, but staying away is not an option. The pull between them is merciless. It is the kind of force that bends rules, twists vows, and carves cracks in walls built to last a lifetime. In the corner, shadows move. Two figures cross paths, one stopping, the other refusing to. Their shoulders nearly brush, and it feels like a betrayal of gravity itself. The silence is broken not by words, but by the sharp intake of breath, the sound of someone holding back the flood. The voiceover returns, deep and low, carved from longing and warning all at once. Some loves are written in fire, and fire does not ask permission to burn. The camera cuts to fragments of tension, a glass shattering on the floor, a car door slamming in the rain, a letter being torn into pieces that drift like dead leaves. The rhythm grows faster, sharper, every cut pressing closer, like the quickening of a heartbeat that knows it's racing toward disaster. Yet, in the chaos, there are moments of unbearable closeness. A hand grabs another wrist too tightly, not letting go. A shadow leans in, lips inches from breaking the line they swore never to cross. The world outside screams in sirens and thunder, but inside there is only the sound of two hearts daring to beat in the same rhythm. Still, the truth presses down, heavier than the storm. He belongs to another promise. She carries a past that will not stay buried. Every step toward each other is a betrayal of someone, something, somewhere. And yet, every step away feels like suffocating. A door slams again, harder this time, and the sound reverberates like a gunshot. The silence afterward is unbearable. One of them whispers, barely audible, but sharp enough to pierce. If we start this, we destroy everything. But destruction in that moment feels sweeter than emptiness. The visuals blur into chaos, rain running down windows like tears. Two silhouettes circling each other in a room too small to hold their secrets. The glow of a cigarette lighting half a profile before vanishing into dark. The voiceover grows stronger, deeper, carrying the weight of fate. Love can be a cage, or it can be the knife that cuts you free. The camera lingers on a single detail, a pair of hands clasped together, shaking, unwilling to part. Lightning explodes across the sky, freezing them in an eternal almost together, almost gone, almost whole. And then, without warning, the sound cuts. Silence, no rain, no thunder, no heartbeat. Just a single word whispered into the dark, a word that carries every promise and every sin at once. Ours. The storm roars back in, drowning everything else. The night does not forgive. It remembers every stolen glance, every trembling hand, every breath that was held too long. What began as sparks now roars like fire in the walls. Impossible to contain. The first image is sharp, shattered glass scattering across the floor in slow motion. Each fragment catches the light like tiny secrets exposed, sharp enough to wound anyone who dares to pick them up. A silhouette kneels to gather the pieces, blood rising where skin meets edge. The cut is small, but the pain is real, the kind that whispers, once broken, nothing returns to what it was. A heartbeat grows louder. 1, 2, faster now. The camera cuts to two figures in the dark, their bodies pulling closer like magnets that can't resist, no matter how much the world screams against it. A wall is pressed against. A shoulder trembles. A whisper of fabric moving across skin becomes deafening. Their closeness is fire and ice, desire against fear, courage against consequence. Outside, the rain has turned violent. Streets flood, thunder splits the air like judgment. The storm mirrors them, loud, relentless, dangerous. And still, inside this fragile moment, the pull between them drowns everything else out. Then an eruption. A phone rings, shrill and cruel, slicing through the silence like a knife. The screen glows in the dark. A name flashes. It belongs to someone who isn't here. Someone who should be. The hand hesitates. The call is ignored. The silence afterward is heavier than the ringing itself. A silence filled with betrayal that hasn't even happened yet. The voiceover is raw, unsteady, as though dragged from a throat that doesn't want to speak. We were supposed to be stronger than this. But you are the weakness I can't escape. The visuals shift, fragments of chaos pieced together like jagged glass. A car speeding too fast down a rain-slick road. A door slammed hard enough to rattle the frame. A figure yelling words we can't hear, their mouth moving in fury while the sound is drowned out by thunder. A hand reaching out, desperate, but the other pulling away into shadow. Passion and anger blur into one. A kiss forced in the dark, fierce, painful, more battle than tenderness. It ends as quickly as it began, pushed away, rejected. but leaving both gasping as though they've drowned and surfaced in the same breath. The world feels smaller now, tighter, suffocating under the weight of choices. Every room becomes a trap. Every word becomes a weapon. The more they fight, the closer they end up, as though conflict is the only language their bodies understand. The narration continues, faster, fragmented, echoing the racing heartbeats. Love is not gentle. It cuts, it bleeds. And when it burns everything with it. We see shadows of arguments, the slam of a fist against the wall, the sharp jerk of someone turning away, tears wiped angrily with the back of a hand. Yet, every time the distance collapses again. They return to each other like sinners to a prayer they no longer believe in but can't stop. Whispering, the escalation does not stop. A secret is revealed, shown not in words but in visuals. A wedding ring left forgotten on a table. A photograph torn in half. A suitcase packed halfway, then abandoned. The truth is now too big to hide and too late to run from. The music rises, strings tightening like nerves pulled to breaking. The storm outside reaches its peak. Inside, two bodies collide not in tenderness but in desperation. They cling like the world is ending, because in their world it is. The final shot of this section is haunting. One figure walking into the rain, shoulders hunched, disappearing into darkness. The other remains behind, leaning against the doorframe, shaking, unable to follow but unable to let go. Their silence says what words never could. This is love. But it is also ruin. The voiceover closes the section in a whisper. The kind of whisper that sounds like both confession and curse. Our fault? Always our fault. The rain swallows the words, carrying them into the storm. Leaving only echoes behind, the storm refuses to quiet. It does not settle into peace. It does not fade into memory. It lingers, cruel and endless, pressing against windows, shaking the walls, echoing the unrest inside their chests. The city outside breathes fire and smoke, neon bleeding into puddles, each reflection fractured like their love. The camera doesn't reveal faces. It never does. Instead, it lingers on the aftermath, the broken glass swept into a corner, the suitcase still open but untouched, the bedsheets tangled like a battlefield. Every detail screams of choices made and regrets waiting at the door. A door creaks open. A shaft of pale light cuts across the room. One silhouette enters, another waits. Their shadows meet before they do, merging into one shape, only to pull apart again. The silence between them is no longer just heavy, it is unbearable. Vibrating with things unsaid, the voiceover returns, softer now, the kind of softness that feels like surrender. Some stories never find their ending. Some just bleed into forever. A figure reaches out, fingers trembling, almost touching the other's hand. The distance is small, but it is everything. Inches feel like oceans. The hesitation is louder than thunder. And then, pulled back, withdrawn, as if even touch is too dangerous now, the visuals fracture into sharp flashes. A car door slamming, taillights vanishing into the rain. A mirror cracking as if it cannot hold their reflection anymore. A key left behind on the kitchen table, still wet from the storm. A hand pressed against the window, as though trying to hold back the night itself. The soundscape shifts, heartbeats pounding faster, each one echoing like footsteps down a dark hallway. The tension does not release. It coils tighter, building to a breaking point that never comes. Then the whisper, desperate and raw, "Don't walk away." "Please," the camera cuts sharply. We do not see who speaks or who listens. All we hear is the weight of silence answering back. Music swells strings, twisted with drums, thunder cracking in time with the beat. The storm outside becomes the storm inside. Lightning flashes reveal fragments, lips almost touching, a door closing. A single tear slipping down a cheek we never fully see. The narration grows harsher now, fractured like breath after running. What if love isn't salvation? What if it's the sin we never stop repeating? The pacing quickens, images throbbing like memory, two bodies colliding in a desperate embrace. A scream swallowed by thunder. A candle blowing out, leaving only smoke. A road stretching into the dark, headlights disappearing into nothing. And then silence, utter silence. The screen turns black. For a heartbeat, it seems over. But then one final whisper, softer than rain, cutting through the dark like the sharpest blade. Our fault. Forever, the words linger. A single frame flashes, the silhouettes side by side. About to kiss yet, the screen cuts to black before their lips meet. The music drops away, replaced by the faint sound of a racing heartbeat. It grows louder, faster, more desperate, until it stops abrupt, leaving only silence. The screen glows again. White letters appear against the dark. Culpa Nuestra, our fault, intense romance movie, official trailer, and just below, fading in like a secret finally revealed, only on Prime Video. The trailer ends not with closure, but with hunger leaving the audience suspended in the same unbearable space as the characters, caught between desire and consequence, longing and ruin.